love making people have a unique experience, something where they come and they felt like they were treated like family. They were not treated like they just walked into a hotel like just anybody else. We're really one-on-one with our staff and our clients. And we really just want to make sure that they leave with an experience that's completely unique, meaning the colors, meaning the food, meaning the service, meaning the proximity to town, and to give really great ideas of stuff to do that are off the beaten track and not just the typical of what everybody does. There was a couple that just came 2 weeks ago, and he's a famous architect from the United States. When they arrived, they had a reservation at a local hotel downtown, which was very modern, and they're both architects, and that did not please them by any means. But they're also in their 80s, so they're looking for the colonial hacienda experience that we have. And they had heard about us through some other friends, and they came up and they walked in the doors and they said, this is it. This is exactly where we want to spend our next 2 weeks. So with them, it was interesting because they had just come from Dallas. And, you know, of course, when I met them, I greeted them with a hug and a kiss. And I could tell from their demeanor that they were not upset, but certainly thrown off. And, you know, so he said, oh, all hugs and kisses here. And I said, this is how we roll at CasaSchuck. This is what the staff does, this is what the owners do, and this is just the love and the warmth that we want people to feel, because this is how we are. And within a day, they were hugging and kissing and loving and you name it. It was just amazing. And just to see the transformation, because they'd already been here for 5 days. They'd been in another location where they weren't feeling that. And they left as family. We'll see them next year in Dallas, and they're coming back next winter for a longer period of time, and wrote a glowing review of my staff. And it felt sad when they were leaving, because it felt like they were part of our family. Yeah. My grandparents, there's a lot of history here. They came in 1958 for the first time. She would always tell me that artists came here because there was an attraction to San Miguel. There was something that drew people here. It was the light. She also mentioned, and this was, you know, her own way of thinking, that there was quartz here. There's crystal here. And she felt like that was what the attraction that drew people to come to San Miguel creatively. That's what she would always tell me as a kid, which I thought was really cool. She was just loving. She was super giving, really loving, and just a beautiful soul. Kitty Callan, who was a singer. I think she's one of the first Grammy winners back in the 20s. She came and stayed with us 2 winters, and she was just a doll. And just to have this icon and this beautiful woman who had such an amazing voice, and just so humble and so sweet and so loving to the staff, she would come and stay for 2 months every winter, and she would sing, and she would do these really impromptu sort of little concerts for the guests, and it was really, really a lovely thing. Lee Radziwill rented the house in the 70s from my grandparents 2 winters. She's the sister of Jacqueline Onassis, and they would live here, and nobody would have a clue who they were. And they always were looking for spots that were off the map. But that was sort of a neat piece of history as well. I mean, Michelle Pfeiffer was here in town. She would come up here. She would paint on the rooftop. And she just would roam around town and take Spanish and take different classes and paint and draw. And she was just really letting her hair down and having fun. All my rooms are different, totally different colors. Different styles. There's nothing that's duplicated from one room to the next. And Dottie Vidargus, who made all of the furnishings for the house, of course, we brought in other things since then. But we've maintained all of the furnishings that she started the house with, which were all hand-painted, handmade, hand-sculpted, and with gold leaf and silver leaf, just beautifully done. And we've maintained all of her stuff and brought in things or had things made that work with it, you know, with a little bit of a modern twist. But being creative here, even on people that aren't creative, I don't know how they couldn't be creative here, because you're just inspired by so many different things. You know, whether you're a writer or a painter or an artist or whatever it is that you're doing. Yeah, it's always color and texture. which is everything I think this country is. And just like getting creative. I mean, there's so much now that's sort of been taken the colonial thing and modernized, which is kind of fun. So it's nice to just remain colonial, but sort of up it with sort of a little bit of a fresher color, maybe a little bit of a different design, maybe a smoother line rather than a jagged line, and just slight modernizing, but keep it to the colonial, the hacienda mirrors, which I love, with the little birds on top and the pierced tin lamps and whatever it is, working with wrought iron. We live in a community where we literally can walk out of our door. We can go to a seamstress, we can go to an upholsterer, we can go to a tin maker, an iron man, somebody that works with copper, faucets. I mean, we can have literally in this town, in this area, made all kinds of things that I've never come across anybody that says that they have the same resources that we have for creativity here. I mean, you can have fabrics loomed, you can have wool loomed, there's unsurmountable things that are super creative here, which is nice.